Hey ladies and gentlemen, Simon here, and it's a super exciting morning as The Mandalorian is finally out, it is released, and I get to sit down and watch it with you guys. I am super hyped. This is one of those moments where you kind of sit down and think, it seems like only yesterday we were getting the first announcement of this show, and then when they say fall 2019, you're like, oh my god, that's miles away, and now all of a sudden we're here. It's pretty crazy. If this is your first time on the channel, you might be able to tell I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. For those of you who have been a fan of the channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a big Star Wars fan. And this is my favourite time of year because this is where everything starts to ramp up. Typically for the Star Wars movie, we do have The Rise of Skywalker coming next month, which again I'm super excited for. And this week in particular is a big week for Star Wars because not only have we got The Mandalorian, we've also got Jedi Fallen Order, which is out on Friday, which I will be streaming live over on my Twitch channel on Friday evening, so be sure to come and check that out. The link, as always, is in the description. But this show, I will admit, when I first heard about the concept of this show, I wasn't overly excited just because I think I misunderstood the premise. I thought it was going to be based upon the Mandalorian culture, it was going to be based upon Mandalore itself, and I didn't find that too interesting because we've seen a lot of Mandalore in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and I wanted something a bit different. And so that's Zuko. Say hello, Zuko. And so when I actually realised, oh no, this is about a bounty hunter who is a Mandalorian who's in the Outer Rim, that became a lot more exciting. And then I saw the trailers, and I became a lot more excited. And all of the reviews so far for everyone who's seen it are glowing. The budget is like $15 million an episode. It looks absolutely beautiful. And so I think we're onto a real winner here. Jon Favreau, he's an exceptional writer and director, so we've already got a win on that from the beginning. But then to obviously be given that kind of a budget, the fact that it's Star Wars, and the fact they've got some really good actors in this, I just can't see myself being disappointed. But I don't want to. I said that in the lead up to The Last Jedi, and then I was disappointed with that. But I always like to come into things with an open mind, so I'm pretty certain I am really, really going to enjoy this show. Now, it's only 8 episodes long, but there's already been a Season 2 commission. They're in the middle of, I think it's pre-production for that. So, obviously, they've impressed, and there is going to be more content from this. But I'm just really looking forward to seeing what life is like post-Return of the Jedi. I think it's like 3 years after Return of the Jedi. And so just to see how the galaxy's kind of coping, from the way the trailers look, it looks like the Outer Rim is as chaotic as ever. There's lawlessness, there's still Imperial remnants hanging about, and it sounds like an ideal place for a bounty hunter to make a living. So I can't wait to jump into this. But before we do, I do want to say a big thank you to my Patreon super supporters, which is where you can find full reactions to all of my videos. So yes, my Patreon super supporters: Frank Tremel, TheLoneDetective, Karen Abel, Rakoon Shampoo, Flawed Otaku, and our newest super supporter, Ace. Thank you all for being Patreon super supporters and supporting the channel. So, yes, we're going to jump into this, and we're going to see what happens on the first episode of The Mandalorian. Oh man, look at that.
Please, please.
A real live-action Quarren. The fact that I'm going to get to see so many of these races in live-action that we haven't seen in years is amazing. Oh, yes! Yes! Come on, close that door. Oh, yes! Oh, shit! It's one of those things. I don't know what it's called, but I've not seen it since episode 4. Oh, that's so cute! So we're like, what? We're like 5 minutes in and we've already seen a guy get eaten by an ice monster. And a guy gets split in half in a door.
Take us
I like it.
Where you going? Let's go. Yes.
See, immediately I love the sense of danger that there is just in even being on these planets.
Found it. Thanks.
That's a toilet. It's a toilet in Star Wars. Of all the things I thought I would get in the show, a toilet, a space toilet was not it. But I am oddly fulfilled.
Get home to the...
Oh no.
But I guess that's not gonna happen.
It's like a horror movie almost. Nice, I like it. Oh my god. There are so many callbacks to the films. But yeah, my bet is the Imperial Remnant are the ones who have commissioned this job.
Have them lower theirs first.
We have you 4-1.
I like those odds.
Yeah. You're just stormtroopers, buddy.
He also said you were expensive. Very expensive. Please sit.
Oh man. We're getting to see the Empire for the first time after Return of the Jedi. That's epic.
It is good to restore the natural order of things after
It's
a
the metal.
period of such disarray. Don't you agree?
It's like traditional Mandalorian metal. Oh, that was so cool. I loved it. That's something I've wanted to see for a while. I love that. Oh, that is so cool. So he's not alone. It's like an armor smith, isn't it? Look at that helmet. The horns on top make me think reminiscent of the time when Crimson Dawn. Were in charge of the Mandalorians. Oh man. That was him. The boy in the trailer was him. So I wonder if we're slowly going to see his armor built piece by piece throughout the series as he gets more of this material.
I will help you.
That's an impressive. If that's prosthetics, that's very impressive.
I have spoken.
He has spoken.
I don't know how to ride Blurg.
I have spoken.
He has spoken. It's good to know he's not brilliant at everything.
You removed your helmet.
There you go. I love the music as well. IG-11.
Subparagraph 16 of the Bondsman Guild Protocol waiver.
That is amazing. And terrifying at the same time. Ever since the IG-88 mission on Shadows of the Empire, I have been so freaked out by the IG droids.
IG unit, stand down.
Oh, shit.
We split the reward.
This is acceptable.
Great. Now let's regroup, out of harm's way, and form a plan.
I will, of course.
Why would you try and take on an IG droid? Oh, this is so cool. Behind you. Holy hell. The Empire just needed an IG droid and they'd have won the war. Oh man. They've killed a shit ton of people and already there's still so many more.
We are trapped. I will initiate self-destruct sequencing.
No! No!
Your what?
Manufacturer's protocol dictates I cannot be captured.
Oh crap.
They got us pinned.
I love the sound of that Mandalorian blaster. Oh man. Yes. Oh yes. Move over, Boba Fett. We have got a new favorite Mandalorian. Look at that.
Well done. I will disengage.
Yes.
Self-destruct initiative.
Please put away the bomb.
Wait.
They said 50 years old.
Years old.
Don't tell me it's 50 days.
Differently.
That's the species Yoda is.
Perhaps it could live many centuries.
What?
Sadly, we'll never know.
That's a 50-year-old baby. And it's a Yoda.
And alive.
No, IG-11. I was expecting him to be around longer. Okay, let us talk about that first episode. I've got so much that I want to talk about, but I have to start with the end. A baby Yoda. There was no name of a species. There was just simply a comment about how species all age differently. And so apparently the species that Yoda is, they stay as a baby until they're at least 50, which seems... I'm not going to try and get into the biology of it because Yoda lived to, I think, 900. And yeah, of all the things to see at the end of the episode, I was not expecting it to be a Yoda baby. And I wish we had a species name so I didn't have to call it a Yoda baby. But that's exactly what it was. The question is, why is the Imperial Remnants after it? Now, this episode, there was so many good things about it. IG-11. I want to make a very brief mention of him. Because the IG-88 droid, for me, was always one of the... It creeped me out as a child on the Shadows of the Empire mission. And seeing IG-11 in action, the way he pivots and moves, freaks me out. Like, I would not want an IG droid tracking me down if I had a bounty on my head, because it'd be like something out of a nightmare. I honestly was expecting him to last longer than an episode, and who knows, maybe he'll get repaired, but I don't think so. But that's nice that there's an expectation there that's kind of been thrown off. So now I've got no idea like how long anyone could be in the show for, because they kind of made it out like he might be a regular member of the show. But I mean, if that's all that we're getting to see of him, I am impressed as hell. So let's get to the obvious positives. The cinematography, absolutely beautiful. Some of the scenes here were so well shot. The transition wipes felt so Star Wars. And it felt like I was watching a proper premiere movie. You know, it felt like I could have been in a cinema watching a Star Wars, story. And even at the end, it got like a full credits, like a full 3-minute credits, like you would on a movie. It was impressive. Obviously, with the budget it's got, the CGI and the costume design and the sets are way above what most TV shows would be able to produce, and it's just a massively impressive feat. Like the Ugnaught was, I'm pretty certain, an actual practical effect, and it looked really, really good. I never thought I would see a modern day, like live action Ugnaught, a modern day kind of. There was so many throwbacks to the Star Wars films in this, like the weird long snouted creature that you saw in A New Hope, given the Imperials information, and in The Mandalorian we see him hiring a speeder from it. Then the thing that was looking out the door that we saw at Jabba's palace, we also saw outside of the Imperial Remnant office. There was just so many amazing callbacks that didn't feel like fan service, but it was kind of like it gave you that chilling moment, like, oh man, that's Star Wars, And I think that's the most impressive thing here, is that they've balanced making it feel like Star Wars whilst not making it feel like fan service. It feels fresh, it feels new, but it also feels like I know this universe, and I immediately accept it as part of the Star Wars story. A couple of interesting things, obviously, is the Mandalorians. I mean, the Mandalorian himself, obviously, is in this for the money. It's interesting that as part of the payments, it was this metallic material that the Mandalorians used to make their armor of. And, there was mentions there of the Great Purge. I'm assuming that was a Great Purge made by the Empire, or during the Clone Wars. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to get to see in Clone Wars Season 7, I think, that's coming up next year, that's going to be to do with Mandalore. So whether it's a droid invasion of Mandalore, or whether something happens during the Empire's period, I'm not 100% certain, because we only get to see Mandalore a little bit in Rebels, and obviously they're on the brink of like a civil war, as they have been for forever. But the Great Purge is an interesting thing that I don't think I've heard of. But obviously it means that Mandalorians are scattered, their traditions are only upheld by a very small number, and so this metallic material, which must be immensely strong, because at the very beginning of the episode, those guys in the bar were like, oh, is that this material? As if to say, this is impenetrable or something. But I love the idea that we're going to see him slowly building his armor over the show, or potentially building up some armor over the show. If he decides to bring in the baby, which I doubt, because that's one thing for me the Mandalorian seems to be, is he seems to have a conscience. He seems to have ulterior motives other than just money. And we saw that he mentioned he was a foundling. Now, I'm assuming the foundling is another word for orphan. And I'm guessing that he just wants to help other foundlings and other Mandalorians, get back on their feet. So it's kind of like that grey area of he's a bounty hunter, which means that he could be bringing in any number of people for any number of reasons, guilty or innocent. But he's doing it for a good cause. So already we've got a complex character trait, But I think this is definitely, he's going to overtake Boba Fett now as top Mandalorian. Boba Fett has been kind of up there. And there's loads of other Mandalorians that you could say from, the Clone Wars and Rebels, who might be up there. But Boba Fett's always been up there because of the mainstream attention he's had. And I think now the Mandalorian overtakes him as, sort of top dog in that category. But I love this first episode, and I can't wait for Friday to see the next one. Super impressed. I wasn't sure what to expect going into this, and I still don't know what to expect going on for the rest of the season, but I'm really excited. I'm very impressed. So anyway, I'd love to know what you thought of that episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one on Friday.